Hello, everyone out there. This is AJ from Late Night Productions. Well, you can already see why we're here. um, why don't you, I need it. Okay, slow down my thoughts. This is Subnautica, below zero, as you can see. And I have a friend with me today. Say hi.
Hello.
So, where have you been lately?
I'm going to be completely honest, and I have been busy around the house.
Gotcha.
Yeah, since I'm not taking classes this summer, I wanted to make sure that everything is all
Good to
ironed
go.
out. Yeah.
All right. So last time we left off, we got like a lot of upgrades, and now we're at the front end of the Mercury ship.
Yep.
Okay, let's go on inside. What's this? Oh. I'm hoping I pick up like some food because I forgot to bring food with me from the last time.
Yeah, before this, I told Jay here about a thing they could have picked up before we came here, but we'll do that later since it's not too far
Fish,
away.
fish, fish, fish.
New creature discovered.
Red featherfish.
Yeah, so for some odd reason, the red featherfish and the regular featherfish are about the same when it comes to nutrition wise. It's sort of like God. There's distinctly a fish in the first game. There was a fish called the eye. I think it was like the eye,
Or something like that, yeah.
which was just a big eyeball and that was green. There was distinctly a separate version of it in the lava zone that was red instead.
Excuse me while I cook up
It's
some
effective.
food.
It's effectively this game's version of that.
Starvation
Especially since I
imminent.
looked at the
Save
actual,
calorie intake immediately.
nutritional stats of the fish. It's almost identical.
I need more fish.
I actually found out that these, not featherfish, but a distinct other type of fish that exists, isn't actually bad to eat raw because it won't get rid of H2O.
You know, Ashtar, I think you should have a new nickname on this channel.
Hmm?
The Professor.
Ha!
Give me fish. I am horrible at catching fish, apparently.
And the one thing about this game is that, much like real life, hand fishing is a chore.
Yeah, that's why we have the graph trap back at base.
Yeah. The only thing different about this game is that you don't have to do other shenanigans of keeping the fish in your damn hand.
You know, when I first played the first Subnautica, I actually thought I had to keep it in my hand or I would lose it.
Yeah, so for even back in like the early betas of both this game and the original Subnautica, the one thing that I praised them on is the fact that when you caught a fish, you didn't have to keep it in your active inventory. It would just stay with you as long as you kept it on you.
Yeah.
That's the one good thing that both of these games do, is that whenever you pick up something that is alive, it won't immediately just decide, hey, no, I'm not going to do that, and just leave.
Alright, now that we're kind of full, let's go back to exploring, shall we?
Yeah.
Ugh.
It should be mentioned that the main issue with, well, not both of these games, is that there is very few things that ever heal health when it comes to eating. In the first game, one of the only ways you could heal health was health kits or just by waiting, and it took hours
Mm-hmm.
if you just waited. It is not viable in the slightest to just let your HP regenerate. Because at that point, you are wasting more food and water than you are health kits.
Yeah.
In this game, they do one of the foods does actually heal. I don't think it's as much as a health kit, but it does. So at least there's more than one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Top off my air supply.
I should probably also mention that anybody who, I probably mentioned this in like the first episode, but I should probably reiterate. If anybody has like agoraphobia or thalassophobia, we are extremely sorry.
You might want to explain what those are, Ashtar, because not even I know what those are.
Agoraphobia is the fear of wide open spaces. It's the opposite of claustrophobia.
Oh.
And thalassophobia is the fear of the sea.
You know, apparently Markiplier suffers from that, and yet he's played at least the first Subnautica.
Yeah, there's a couple people who have been noted to suffer thalassophobia in some shape, way, or form, or at least a fear of the ocean, who have played this game before, who have played this game, and successfully beat it. So that shouldn't, your fear should not define you.
Ooh, PDA.
I'm alive. Stefanos saved
All
me.
I'm saying is that if you do find yourself unusually nervous or just scared, that might be
I was
why.
helping the bridge crew with the emergency takeoff since the crew is, well, was short-handed because of everything. I heard the sound of metal tearing, and for a split second, everything was tinged bright green and unbearably
And if you just
hot.
notice, this has probably happened a couple times before, but
I was looking down at the ocean.
to point out the
ice.
sealed containers, in the original game there was
Strongest wind
there
I've
was
ever
very
felt
few of
in
those,
more
if
than my
any.
years, ripping through the ship. People went flying out the side of the Mercury.
In the original
So much
Subnautica, there was a
shit
couple
screaming
containers
and
that were
chaos.
sealed, and for the most part, sealed
I was
containers
lucky.
usually contained
I
better
had
stuff
just
than
to get
unsealed.
my sea tinker.
I need to get out of here.
Stefanos came out of
But it
nowhere
seems like this
like a
game,
malaika, an
it's more
angel.
apt to where they are.
I felt his rough, calloused hand grasp mine with the gentlest of urgency. It felt like time slowed.
So in the first game,
I gotcha.
all the containers looked exactly the same, unlike these, which are, barnacle covered and
But
dirty.
he used an emergency
Well, these have been underwater for how long now?
The strongest
Years.
bulkhead in the ship. We hit the water and
But in the first game, the containers were sort of arbitrarily sealed.
sleeping. I think he might have hit his head.
Usually, if you, in
I'm
certain parts
exhausted.
of
The adrenaline has long
the
since worn off
the
and
Aurora
my
wrecks
body
around the
aches.
world, sometimes you would run into containers that said sealed.
I'm gonna shut my eyes for a bit. When I wake up,
For the most part, they were very few and far between, but when you did run into them, there was no particular reason for why they should be.
Yeah.
At least in this game, it's in a wreck that has been down here for years, so it makes sense that you kind of have to get rid of all of the crust that has sealed them shut.
That's the repair tool. That's the tool I want. See, I don't remember sealed containers in the first one, but maybe I just never encountered them.
There's like a couple.
Like, I just might have never encountered them in my playthroughs.
You probably never did, because for the most part, sealed containers are in like wrecks. Most containers in the game are open though. Like 99% of the containers in Subnautica are open. There's like one or two legitimately that are
My
sealed.
instincts are never wrong. Stefanos
And for the most part, they're not worth it.
Cautious. He hates taking risks.
It should be mentioned that one of the few things that is randomized in both Subnauticas is what exactly is inside of a shipping container, or the tiny containers.
Yeah.
That's one of the few things that is randomized in both of these games, is what they contain.
Orion's belt. I would be an
It's
absolute
usually
fool.
a small pool of
While there are no
water,
mineral resources on this planet,
a nutrient block,
there is decent biodiversity. Teams go out in the morning.
some sort of item, small item, like a battery or something like that.
Yeah.
Or nothing.
Split among the crew as part of the
I've never seen one with nothing.
Let's see,
There's a couple of times that I myself have
transport
encountered
uniform
ones that have
pockets.
had nothing in them.
They'll learn to trust my instincts at some point.
It seems to be a rarer
Occurrence.
occurrence, but it can happen. Back in the early beta days, though, they also used to contain physical coordinates. So back before they streamlined the exact of how the coordinate system was going to work, where it would just go into a certain section of your PDA and give you a physical mark on the map.
Yeah.
There was a physical object you would put in your inventory in the same spot as your compass, or your one of your tools.
Uh-huh.
Usually the same spot as the compass. And it would give you directions towards that particular point. This would also mean that you wouldn't be able to put anything in that slot until you figured the point, and that point would not disappear unless you de-equipped it.
I'm stuck in tree roots. Well, not tree roots, lily pad roots.
There was also no indication to whether or not if you had gone to that point with that coordinate. And sometimes the coordinates were a bit weird with exactly where they were. For the most part, that was a thing that stayed in beta for quite a long time until they figured out how to streamline it.
Got some kind of seed.
Oh man,
Yeah.
man, oh man. This is every xenolinguist.
Oh, Chinese potatoes. Those are useful.
I mean, I was helping with
Hooray!
the scans, and there are possible unknown structures on
Yeah,
the
so
surface. This could set my career up.
it should be mentioned that some of the flora that used to grow on like the actual islands in the first game does reappear.
Huh.
The only one that does not reappear from the first game is actually no, the marble melon does reappear. Never mind. For the most part, only some of the plants do not reappear, and most of the plants that don't reappear are more decorative.
Gotcha.
They're pretty much just replaced by another sort of decorative plant that fits better with the
theme.
ecosystem and environment of this particular part of the planet. It should also be mentioned that bulb trees, which were one of the best sources of food in the original game, also do not exist because they're
more tropical.
They're more tropical. They're full of water. They would literally freeze solid if they grew here. However, other fruits do reappear, like the lantern fruit, the Chinese potato, and the marble melon.
You think the marble melon would freeze, you know?
Well, the thing is that they grow them indoors.
Gotcha.
The thing about the bulb tree is that while we grew them indoors in the original Subnautica, we had to get a seed from an exotic, an actual plant in the wild to do so.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that marble melons and Chinese potatoes are probably just mass-produced things that the Altera company and other companies just kind of bring with them as easy-to-cultivate foods inside of bases.
Mm-hmm. How many doors do I have to freaking cut open? Jesus, this is what, the third or fourth?
Yeah. Lantern fruit specifically grow in this climate because since this game has a heat meter, they were able to add on the fact that certain food will actually warm you up.
Huh.
So lantern fruit now do that.
Neat. I already have the... Ooh, what's this for the prawn suit? Drill arm! Oh, that's going to be very useful.
Yep. One of those things of, one of the things I distinctly remember is that if you do start playing this game almost immediately after the original Subnautica, some of the food might have different nutrition values, quote unquote.
Oh, my inventory's full.
So don't be surprised if you eat something and it doesn't restore as much as you remember it.
Mm.
One of the biggest changes is that the marble melon is no longer as good as it once was.
Yeah. I don't need any more Chinese potatoes right now.
You can probably get rid of the decomposing ones.
Oh yeah, they have a limit, don't they?
For the most part, when it comes to planting actual Chinese potatoes, since they're seeds as well as actual food, seeds do not care when you plant them, unless they become rotting. So all those decomposing ones are actually probably better because old is... worse, I think. Again, I forget exactly how it goes, but I think it's like fresh, stale, old, decomposing, rotting, or something like that. And for the most part, the only thing this does is just make the food value worse until rotting, in which case it's no longer food.
It's compost.
Yeah. Pretty much the only reason to have rotting food is to use it for fuel.
I mean, if I plant one of the potatoes, then I can always get more to, make later, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, so the thing about seeds is that, again, since most seeds do not have a decomposition time, because most seeds are just usually decorative plants.
Yeah.
The seeds that do have a decomposition time don't really care when you plant them unless they become rotting.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before. So you can plant a decomposing or old seed, and it will still grow into a fresh plant. As far as I know, it doesn't cause it to make worse plants or to take longer. As far as I know, there is no change between planting an old seed and planting a fresh seed. And if there is, it's so small that I didn't recognize it, or that didn't exist in the first game.
Oh, there it is. That's what we need. Parallel processing fragment. Yes. Now I think we have all three, so we can make the thing.
Test override module, and I can disable that satellite tower.
Why do we need this to destroy the satellite? Not destroy it. You know what I'm talking
Disable
about?
it?
Yeah, I wonder why.
Well, I'm guessing that precursor technology or builder, or whatever you want to call them, technology doesn't play nice.
There's probably other stuff in the ship I can get, but just like, I got what I wanted, so I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah. So what AG just picked up was a jukebox disc. So you can make a jukebox in the base. It doesn't really have any use other than playing music. As far as I know, there is a set amount of music that it default always has on it. You just picked up an extra disc that you could put in the jukebox to play.
You know, the sea truck actually has a jukebox.
Huh, interesting. But yes, as far as I know, there are a couple of discs that are just kind of scattered in the world of various types of music that you can just put in a jukebox. Yeah, so... that's the one you picked up.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's the jukebox. Anyway, let's go back to base, shall we?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I don't have to. I have a freaking fabricator right here on the freaking truck. What first I can get? Of course it needs effing lithium.
Yeah, that's the one thing that should always be noted, is that the one thing that this game does that, again, I really do love is the fact that you can pin.
Okay. I do need to pin some stuff, don't I?
Yeah. In the original game, you couldn't. So a lot of the time in the original LP, which we still need to properly redo,
Yeah.
what AJ over here would do is that, at my behest, they started writing it down.
More or less.
So that they could remember and just look at what they, what they needed.
Alright. I'm heading back to base. Like I said, I don't think there's anything else here. If there is, we can always come back for it later.
Mm-hmm. For the most part, Subnautica is very good about flagging things for if they should respawn or not.
Let's see. It takes two crystals. I call them crystals because I can't think of what they actually call them in the game. The things that make glass.
Diamonds?
Not diamond.
Quartz?
Quartz, yeah. It takes 2 quartz to make 1 glass, right?
Correct.
So that means I need at least 10 quartz to make enough glass to make the freaking aquarium.
Yeah, and there's quartz right there.
I know.
Again, the one thing I will praise is that they actually allowed you to pin the freaking recipe so that you know what you're going for.
Do I have enough room in my inventory for 10? Yeah, I do. Okay.
I don't know if the original has got this functionality since I last played, because it might have had a couple small updates since. But if it doesn't, there's probably a mod for it. The one thing about the Subnautica community that I do adore is that they are very, very good at modding.
I know someone was making a mod for a 2-player version of Subnautica, but I don't know if it actually got off the ground or not.
A what? 2-player?
Yeah.
Right. I don't know about that, but I do know that there's a couple mods. I haven't heard anything about them in a bit, but I do know that for a while they were going really well. There was one mod called The Extinction and another mod called A Gigantic Return.
Huh.
The Extinction brought back a whole bunch of creatures that were cut out of the original game, as well as a couple concept art creatures that, fan-made concept art creatures that got their own concept art that were added in because they fit.
Wasn't the Rock Puncher one of the ones that was cut originally?
I believe so, but these are creatures that might have not even made it into the game period. Like, these are things that might have gotten stuck at concept designs and went no further. The Rocket Puncher actually got code. These might have gotten booted before they even got a modicum of code. But all of these, they effectively reintroduced these creatures into the game with full models, their own noises. Some have their own eggs and their own AIs.
Mm-hmm.
It's really in depth and it's really neat. I haven't heard anything about it for a bit, but last I checked, it was going really well. Although there was a stink a while ago with one of the people pulling out because of asshole nature.
Ow! Good thing my ship's not that far away.
Yeah, one of the people decided to be an absolute bellend. So...
Stop attacking my stuff, a-hole!
That was sorted out, thankfully.
I will slash you. No! Stop! Leave me alone!
Unfortunately, you've met Cryptosuchus, which are very, very angry.
No shit. I just want to keep looking for a few more things.
Well, this isn't the area to do it, because Cryptosuchus says no.
I noticed he killed me, don't you know? I wonder something, Ashtar. If I say I grabbed a fish while I was outside my sea truck, got in my sea truck, and then put it in the aquarium, could I keep it and, from like going bad or whatever.
As long as you do not cook or cure the fish will not rot.
Gotcha.
For the most part, because of how this game is coded, as long as you do not cook or cure the fish, it is not considered a food item, quote unquote, and therefore does not have a rot meter.
Huh. I learned something.
This is to prevent fish from in the inventory going bad when they really shouldn't have any reason to.
So there actually is some logic in this game.
Yeah, so the implication is that you're sort of keeping them alive in some shape, way, or form as long as they're in your inventory. And so that's why they don't rot. This is to prevent many issues surrounding the fact that it would cause the game to be a lot harder for no good reason if this were the case.
1, 2, 3.
This is also the case in the original game, where as long as the fish was in your inventory and you didn't cook or cure it, it would not rot. Despite having food and water values, they do not have the tag which causes them to do that. All that putting them in an aquarium does is either put them up for decoration or allow them to expand.
Why do you think I'm gathering a lot of glass crystals?
Glass?
I call it
Well, it's quartz.
Yeah, quartz. By the way, I'm also finding a lot of lithium.
Yeah, this is a good place for it.
I should probably get back to my truck at some point.
But yeah, in both the original game and this game, if you put a fish down in a small aquarium, like one of the bedside ones or something like that, it will not multiply. And if it does multiply, it does so very, very slowly.
I know in the big aquarium that I'm going to be making, yeah, they can multiply very fast there.
Yes. The big aquarium has a limit to how many fish you can put in it, and it also has an invisible limit of how many fish can be in it, period. It does not tell you what this invisible limit is, but for each aquarium segment, I believe, it's like... hang on, let me double check this, because in the original game, it was like... one segment of aquarium gave you like 8 or 12 fish. And another additional segment gave you more. This is one of those things that I don't remember this off the top of my head, so
Oh! Ashtar! I'm stupid! Add quartz into my storage the whole time.
Hooray!
Let's hurry back to base. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, so in a multi-purpose room, it has 16 slots for things.
I just hit a fish. Should I feel bad about that?
No, it's fine. So, alien containment. If you leave 2 creatures of the same species, they will breed.
Well, yeah, I know. Remember, that's how I used to get Reginald's back in the original.
Yes. In the original, I believe the limit was 12 fish per tank. They seem to have lowered it to 10.
That's still more than enough to at least keep our thing going once we get the breeding started and whatnot.
Yeah, the minute that it hits 10, it will stop.
Until, we catch some or whatever, and then it'll start up again. Until it's back at 10, and yeah.
I believe expanding the, adding another containment unit will add another 10 to its capacity. So if you have like 2 stacked on top of each other, you'll have 20.
Which probably ain't really gonna happen with us, but hey, you know, it's a pipe dream. You know what I mean? Oh, I just hit something.
It might not expand it by another 10. It might expand it by like another half.
Yeah.
You know, like B15. For the most part, though, 10 should be more than enough. Just don't put anything in it after 10, otherwise fish will die.
We don't want dead fish.
And in the original game, it would just not allow you to put any more inside of the tank. Like, I think they would either disappear or they would just not allow you to drop any more. If they did die, then I didn't notice. Or it's in such a way where it just didn't look mechanically right.
Just putting stuff away for the moment.
Alright.
So I can go get, you know, the rest of the stuff out of the truck.
Yeah, the one thing that's going to be at a premium in all parts of the game is going to be space.
Gotta go to space, gotta go to space. Wait, not that space.
Yeah, inventory space is going to be at a premium pretty much the entirety of the game. You're going to constantly just be full on inventory.
Hey, Ashtar.
Hmm?
Remember in our previous Let's Play of Subnautica, we, I think I'm not gonna save this potato in time. But anyway, you had me get, like, stuff in advance, so we could just, like, do endgame content. Do you think we should do that again?
For the most part, due to how this game is structured versus the original Subnautica, a lot of the original Subnautica was very, very based on following a linear path.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff I could walk you through was because I understood this linear path from start to finish, because I was part of early testing, so I knew where stuff was easy, because I knew how the map was structured.
Yeah.
I did do early testing of this, but I stopped for the longest time. So, it is very, very much one of those things of enough of this game has changed since I last played that I doubt that I remember everything.
It's alright. It was a thought, you know?
The most I can do is probably direct you towards some of the biomes that I remember. We've been to most of those, though.
Yeah.
And some of the things I remember doing are no longer actually things you need to do.
We need to. I need to reinforce the base at some point.
Yeah. Probably one of the best ways to reinforce the base is to either put reinforcement, which takes lithium, on certain walls that you know you're not going to use, or by installing bulkheads.
I forgot about those, actually. Oh, I need to make the glass. Duh.
Bulkheads are extremely useful.
You know,
I
it
believe
helps if I do this. Sorry. Go ahead.
I believe reinforcement increases your hull rating by like 1 or 2. Bulkheads increase it by like 3.
Huh.
Or more. I don't remember. The only issue about bulkheads is that, as good as they are for increasing hull, and the fact that if your base floods, they can actually close off certain sections. They do make traveling around the base a little more tedious because you have to watch the animation of opening the bulkhead every time.
Silicone room. I need that titanium for something else right now.
It should also be mentioned that the maximum amount of bulkheads that can be open at once in a base is 3.
Okay.
So, depending on how many bulkheads you have in a base, up to 3 of them can be open at the same time.
Personal sushi factory. You decide.
I need to put a hatch on this. I remember that.
Yeah. Wikipedia didn't say anything about it before.
Oh, I can make that now. Okay.
Yeah, usually the hatches for these things are pretty cheap.
It's upside down, kind of, but hey, what can you do? Yeah, I need to reinforce the base, so I need to do this.
Yeah, it should be mentioned that unless the hull strength reaches negative, the base won't leak, for the most part.
Yeah, but I want to be safe, you know what I mean?
Again, hull integrity isn't really something that is used as much as they probably wanted it to be.
Huh. Guess I'm out of titanium. Oh well.
Yeah, and if you look, I believe if you look at reinforcements, it's like titanium lithium or something like that.
Yeah. So let's go grab some fish.
Yeah, I remember reinforcements the recipe for reinforcement is very well because I used to just cover my base in that.
Do I have?
And then I read the fact that hull integrity is pretty much a non-mechanic unless you're in some very certain places. It also seems to be the same way for this game, where it seems to be a non-mechanic unless you're in very certain places. I should warn. Yeah, this is a warning to everybody right now, though. I don't know whether or not they implemented the thing of Leviathans attacking bases, so please don't build anywhere that has, like,
Rawr.
or anything like that. Because I cannot guarantee you that your base will survive.
Release.
Or I can also not guarantee that your base will be unmolested.
This is how I fish now.
But yeah, in the original game, they planned on having fish and leviathans attacking your base every so often because of the energy or noise it would give off, but they never fully implemented that in the original. I have not seen anything about implementation of that in this game, so I'm just going to err on the side of caution and say they might have implemented that this time.
I haven't had anything attack me yet, but...
Well, you're in the safe shallows. There are no predatory fish that spawn in the safe shallows except for crash fish, and that's only in very certain places. And those really aren't predatory as much as they are just a nuisance.
I'm gonna put a couple of the fish I just caught in the aquarium. I guess the hoop fish would be the, you know what I mean?
Oh yes.
I just ate them.
Stabilizing.
Whoopsies.
Yeah, it's one of those things of we'll use these for now until we can grab some more keepers or something.
Yeah, and those shouldn't be hard. It's just the grab chap didn't grab them when I first went through.
Yep.
Now to cook the rest of these so I can eat. Speaking of food, I've actually been watching what I eat lately, and I feel like I've lost a little bit of weight.
Congratulations.
I mean, I don't know if I actually have or not, but it feels like I have. You know what I mean?
Still gonna say congratulations.
There we go. Alright. We got that done. Now what do we do? Okay, let's see. I need to make the thing, right?
Yeah, there. Story beat wise, you can probably get rid of the pinned recipe for the aquarium.
Already did.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot you are 30 seconds behind me.
Yeah, I am.
Silver, gold, and table coral. I think I have the silver and the gold, I think.
You probably have the table coral. And if you don't, that's easy enough.
There's gold. And I do have silver. I just need the table coral, which, like I said, wouldn't be that hard to find.
Yeah, for the most part, in both this game and the original, a lot of story-based items are usually cheap.
You know, I'm gonna detach these from the... No, I'm not. I'm just gonna take the whole truck with me.
The main exception to this rule is in the original game, there's a couple of things that were noted to be needed for some story stuff. They weren't necessarily key items, so they were a little more expensive. The only key item that was super expensive in the original game was a vehicle, and that's because vehicles in that game are always expensive.
Oh, table coral's the other way. The only thing I don't like about having the bigger truck is it's hard to, like, I can't maneuver as fast.
Yeah, so the main trade-off of the sea truck is that you can add modules to it up to 4, but the more you add, the slower and less maneuverable it gets, like an actual truck.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much you're exchanging mobility for utility.
And I think that's kind of a fair trade-off, I think.
Yeah. For the most part, your actual speed doesn't change, it's just your ability to make corners and stuff like that is a little weirder.
Yeah.
So for the most part, you're not actually slowing down much, it's just a little harder to take corners. But the trade-off is more than worth it.
You know the aquarium occasionally just grabs fish from the water?
Well, the thing about the aquarium is because of how the original Subnautica was done. So this is a bug in the original Subnautica that has not been fixed. There's probably a mod that fixes a lot of the bugs that we have mentioned before. But one of the bugs, because of how objects were loaded in the original Subnautica, was that because sometimes fish, because they would spawn, one of the first things that would spawn in, would swim around in places they weren't supposed to be. Usually they would spawn in places that were flagged as having water. Sometimes this would cause fish that weren't supposed to be there to spawn in the aquarium you would build in your base, because it was...
Ashtar, I was talking about the aquarium on the truck.
Oh. It's...
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I remember one time I had an aquarium in the base, and a carnivorous fish somehow got in there.
Yeah, biter, I think.
Yeah, and it happened multiple times. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, because of how the original Subnautica was done, as I was explaining, yeah, fish come in first, and since the aquarium is considered a viable body of water, sometimes because of how fish roam, and where you build your base, it is possible for fish that are not supposed to be in your aquarium to spawn in your aquarium when they're not supposed to. The sea truck here, unlike the aquarium in your base, has a similar problem, which, because of similar coding, I'm guessing what happens is that the sea truck spawns in first, and then fish spawn in viable places, and because your aquarium has water in it, it will sometimes just be like, oh, this is viable.
No, I think that one of the sea truck's things is, as you're going by, you'll occasionally pull a fish in.
Oh, that's just a feature then. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Why am I not parking near the front of my park?
Hmm. Yeah, in the original game, that was extremely not a feature, because that would be in the base's aquarium, and that's not supposed to happen at all.
So, change of subject. I lost my train of thought. When you do have pizza, what's your favorite kind of toppings?
Honestly, I just like cheese pizza, and that's about it.
Really? Just plain cheese?
Yep. Not a toppings person.
Huh. I learned something. Okay, we need copper wire, which I think we already have, or I can... No, I can make that. Okay.
Yeah, I've had bites of, like, I think it was, like, pepperoni, mushroom, and maybe a bit of sausage on some pizza, and I didn't like any of the tastes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, I'm gonna stick with cheese.
My favorite pizza toppings are actually, I love Meat Lover's Pizza, I love Supreme Pizza, but if I had to pick only, like, a couple of toppings on a pizza, pepperoni and pineapple. And I know some people are gonna think, oh, that's weird. It's not weird, it's delicious.
Can't stand pineapple.
Well, more pineapple for me then.
It's just too sweet.
Oh.
You know how some people describe some certain things as, like, too sour or too bitter?
Yours is too sweet.
Yep. I cannot have things that are overly bitter or overly sweet, because immediately my body is just like, nope, not having this.
Well, they haven't bred yet. I'm gonna put. I want to see what this egg that I've had around is.
I believe it's an Arctic ray.
We'll know in a little while, huh?
No, I know exactly what it is.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember where lead is.
Yeah. Multiple times I have eaten just a lime, but I cannot have pineapple.
I'm gonna take my prawn suit out for a while. Charge up my sea truck. I forgot how low this thing sits to the ground.
Yeah, it's because of the shape. Yeah, for me, my favorite tastes that I can just handle unholy amounts of are just sour and salt.
I'm not a big fan of sour stuff. I mean, I don't mind a little bit of sour, but, like, if it's where it looks like it's about to implode your face, I don't like it, you know what I mean?
On the other hand, I will eat a straight raw lime and be fine.
Ugh. No offense.
Fair. Not a lot of people can handle the amount of sour.
Anyway, let's go find some freaking lead, because I don't remember what drops it.
For the most part, artificially sour does hit a certain limit. Like, I can have warheads, but if I have too many, it will hit that limit because it's artificially sour. But a natural sour, I'm fine with. Like, natural actual sour, I can just go to lime and be fine. And salt, it doesn't matter, because I know I have a problem with salt. Because at a point, I ate so much that the roof of my mouth started to crack.
Ooh, dude, that's not good.
I wasn't going to stop either until I felt that. I'm like, maybe I should.
By the way, the jump jets in this game are a little different than the old ones.
Yeah. In the original game, the jump jets were, weren't the best. They didn't have a lot of upward momentum, but they had a lot of horizontal momentum.
Yeah.
In this game, they sort of evened them out and gave them a decent amount more upward momentum.
Yeah.
So that you no longer need the grapple arm to actually get anywhere. Because it was pretty much a necessity to have one of your arms be the grapple arm in the original Subnautica, otherwise you would get your prawn suit stuck.
I was lucky I never really got stuck, but there were a few instances like I was gonna get stuck if I wasn't careful.
Yeah. One of the main gripes I do have about the original game is that despite how good the prawn suit is for going really deep and getting a lot of stuff you can't normally get, it controls kind of bad. And since it doesn't have a lot of upward momentum, it's very easy to just accidentally fall into a hole and, well, not be able to get it out.
Didn't I have to abandon my prawn suit at one point because it lost all the power because I kept getting lost?
I believe so. Eventually you got your Cyclops down there to fix it, though.
Yeah.
That's the one thing about the original Subnautica that this suit doesn't have, is because of how large the Cyclops was, you could dock your vehicles in it.
I kind of miss it.
So, it was sort of like a portable moon pool. The Sea Truck the Sea Truck is effectively a mixture of both the Sea Moth and the Cyclops. It's the mobility of the Sea Moth with the utility of some of the utility of the Cyclops.
Yeah.
And while it does fix a lot of the issues that the individual vehicles themselves had, there's some of the things that they could do by themselves have been lost.
I do not have any food. Damn it. It's always food, isn't it?
Yeah. I find that the Sea Truck is probably a good option for the answers to some of the problems people had with the other two vehicles. Because a lot of complaints about the Cyclops was that it was just too big and clunky to really get around anywhere easy.
I still think it's funny we found out that one old bit of programming and stuff, you know?
Again, I don't actually think it was an old bit of programming. I might have misjudged what that was.
Well, this is about the... this thing's limit. So I can get
Like,
some...
if I were to go back and that same thing were to happen again, I would probably call it like an actual straight glitch. Like, I've thought about it sometime. I thought about it after the stream and like, wait, no, that's kind of impossible, never mind. I might have just talked out of my ass on that one.
And if you did, you did. You know, it happened, you know?
Yeah. Some of those might have been actual old code, but I'm decently sure that a couple of the things that happened to us that were glitches, that were, you know, weird, were actual glitches and not just old code coming out of the woodwork.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
That one just confused me so much in the moment that I think that's what I thought it would have been.
Time to try to go back up.
But I digress. People didn't have...
Come on. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, one of the main problems that the people had with the Seamoth wasn't the fact that it was, you know, small and quick. It was the fact that it couldn't go deep at all. In the original Subnautica, the maximum amount of depth that the Seamoth could go to was like, I think it was 900?
I don't remember. Right now I'm kind of focused on something else, Ashtar.
I know.
Okay. Reload my jets. I shouldn't have gone so deep. Like I said, I know what lead spawns in. I'm just trying to remember where I last saw some. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, for the most part, the Seamoth itself doesn't have a lot of problems. There were a couple of problems, but for the most part, the Seamoth itself was a solid vehicle. The Cyclops is where most of the problems led. It was usually too big to really go anywhere that you really needed it to be. It was kind of hard to control. It couldn't go nearly as deep as all the other vehicles, because I think its max depth was like 600 or something stupid like that.
Yay, we got everything we need. Okay, we can get out of here and get back to base.
Hooray! And the prawn suit has pretty much been unchanged.
Yep, still a clunky pain in my ass.
Other than the extra upward movement, yeah, it's pretty much unchanged.
My base is that way.
Yeah, mainly vehicles in this game are their own. Other than the prawn suit being just slightly changed, are their own beast. Especially since I believe the snow fox is its own thing.
I need to find a fish to eat. I don't care if it's raw. I need to find something to eat. I don't think I'm gonna find it here, so I'm probably gonna starve. Great. I saw some fish a minute ago, but oh well. Oh, fish! Fish, come back! Fish, I want to eat you. Where'd you go? I am not this. I am not this bad at wrangling fish. Yeah, we need to get back to base, like, now. You know?
Yeah. It should also be mentioned that a lot of the biomes in this game are a lot more user-friendly. Well, I shouldn't say user-friendly, I should say vehicle-friendly. While the Twisty Bridge is a bit of a pain for the prawn suit, it is a lot better than some of the other biomes that existed in the original game, which were just so craggy the prawn suit was no.
It was stuck a lot of the time, yeah.
Unless you had a Cyclops down there, which at that point it was taking pressure damage, just no. And there was one biome that was just so dense with things that the only vehicle you could really use to get through it in any shape, way, or form was the prawn suit. Because most other vehicles would just get tangled. Thankfully, they did a better version of it in this game, and it's not as bad. Man, the Mushroom Forest was kind of real bad.
I mean, aesthetically, I like the design, but practically...
Yeah. Aesthetically, all of the biomes in both of these games are extremely
stunning.
Beautiful. They're very good and very beautiful. Even if a couple of the places look a bit bland, like the lava zone and whatnot, they still have their own beauty to them.
Yeah.
The problem is that not all of them are practical to play with. For the most part, all the biomes in this game, and I'd say probably about 90% of the biomes in the original game are fine.
Yeah.
But places like the Mushroom Forest, or I'm not gonna say the Grand Reef, but a couple of places like the lava zones and the Blood Kelp Forest are just
They need work.
They need work.
Don't mind me.
They needed work, I should say.
Yeah. Ah, my nose.
For the most part, other than sort of the blandish nature of the lava zones, they're real maze-like, real craggy, really deep.
I am about to start to freaking get hurt from starvation. No, not the locker.
Both of the lava zones are not fun to go through.
Remember, we kept getting glitched through them.
Well, that was the active one. The inactive one is also pretty bland and just not great. It's real both of them are, again, really craggy, really hard to navigate through, and just
calorie intake.
Pains. The Mushroom Forest, as beautiful as it looks, is just so cluttered.
Yeah.
With actual physical that are the mushrooms, that it's pretty much impossible to drive anything through it.
Why is the power flickering in my base?
I don't know. That might be an odd lighting thing. It could just be the lighting being weird. I really don't know.
Alright. Now that,
But-
you know, I'm not gonna die, let's build what we need to build.
Probably the one zone that they have massively needed to work on was Blood Kelp. As beautiful as the Blood Kelp looked, it was just this big expanse of nothing.
Alright, we built the thing, now I just gotta remember where the satellite outpost is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know it actually has a name, I just can't think of what it is at the moment.
Well, it's 301 on my end.
You think we're gonna have enough time to get there and do all the stuff we need to do?
I don't know. I did promise someone I would go do something soonish.
Was it near, like, you know, it's near something. I just can't remember off the top of my head right now.
I don't remember.
I usually can find it by finding like the sparking wire in the water. Ow.
There.
And I know it's near the edge of the ice.
Okay.
Delta Base, I think it was called, or something like that. Was it Delta Base? Or something to that effect?
Oh boy, temperature is being Arctic, yes.
You mean in game or in real life?
You might want to look at that Celsius meter over there.
Yeah, that's cold.
In reality, it's 94 degrees Fahrenheit where I am. And I'm in Minnesota, so I feel bad for all the southern states at the moment.
Right now it's not uncomfortable where I live, but it's not comfortable either, you know what I mean?
And it's 94 degrees where I live at the moment, and I'm in Minnesota, so that should say a lot.
Be careful what you put on the internet, my dude. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm not even saying where, I'm just saying the state.
True. You know, maybe I should put a marker next to the space so we can find it better.
Maybe. For the most part, I have never said anything further than I live in that state, and that is it.
Yeah. But you know why I'm saying, hey, be careful, right?
Fair.
There's a reason, you know, I give out my nickname and not my real name and all that jazz.
Why do you think I give out a nickname as well?
I got stuck. And now I'm going sideways.
And besides, for all you know, I could be lying about where I live.
We'll talk about that later. It's way too shallow for me here. I know it's around here somewhere.
Like, even if I were to give out a state, you can't tell whether or not I'm telling the truth.
Everybody's lying on the internet until they are telling the truth, and then even then they're still lying.
In some cases, yes.
Is that a little too jaded sounding?
A bit, but for the most part, in some communities it's like that. In others, people are a lot nicer. Honestly, it depends on the community.
Oh yeah. I've been in some toxic communities, dude. It's not good.
Fair warning to anybody, if your community starts acting like an actual bully or toxic person, you might want to just know.
Wait. I know it was near this position, near this.
It should be mentioned that the community for this game is very, very chill.
One Oh, go ahead.
They're also very understanding about people who are actually afraid of things like this.
I didn't... What? Did I actually hit the E key? That was weird.
Yeah, you probably accidentally hit the E key.
One community I was in, I'm not gonna name what it was because it's a long defunct game now. But, one time, I talked, I brought up, some people were being toxic, and I got kicked out of the community the same day.
Yeah. I think the most toxic community I am technically, I say in air quotes, a part of. Like, I'm not really part of the community, I just play the game the community is a part of. Is the Dark Souls community.
Yeah, that can be a little sometimes.
For the most part, the community is very much, a decent amount of the community is good people, but there are those in the community that are just, no. You go into the corner. Again, though, I'm not actively part of the community, I just play the game the community is part of. For the most part, I don't really have a good metric on any other game I have currently on Steam or otherwise, and their communities, whether or not they're still alive or not.
Why is it when I want to find something in this game, I can't, but when I stop looking for it, then I find it?
I don't know.
You ever had that happen?
Yeah, no, it happens a lot with me.
I have a bad feeling. Arctic ray egg discovered. Okay.
That's the thing you put in the aquarium. It hatched, so now it's known that it was an Arctic ray egg.
So you were right.
Well, remember you asked me what it was a few videos ago.
Oh, right.
Or,
right.
sorry, a few streams ago. And so I looked up creature eggs. I tried to look for the one that looked the most like the egg and told you it was an Arctic ray egg. And you asked me if I was sure, and I took another look and I'm like, I'm decently sure.
Ow. Well, I have the thing, it's just now I'm gonna have to find the place, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those.
How did I end up in the lily pads? I don't know.
No, you've been here.
I know.
Also, evolution's kind of just weird sometimes.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about the process known as carcinization, in which multiple animals have been found evolving into crabs for no discernible reason.
Wait, they turn into crabs?
Multiple different species of animals have been found to have evolved into, or in the process of evolving into crabs for no discernible reason.
Crustaceans.
Yes.
Heh.
It is a very well-known scientific thing that has been categorized and is called carcinization. And we're still not entirely sure why. But it is a thing that exists and is happening. So again, evolution is kind of whack.
Oh, a rock puncher.
That's just the best example I had in my head, is that phenomenon.
Mm.
Especially since it's not a genetic mutation either, it's just a thing that's happening.
Like I said, when I want to find something, I can't find it. It's annoying. How did I end up here?
This is what I like to call the explorer's paradox.
Poop fish. Oh, that really hurt my ship, huh?
And almost every game, or in every game that has any sort of open world exploration, those who scour the map will always have this particular problem where, at some point or another, be it because they just want to visit a certain spot or because they need to go somewhere for a quest, if you are not given a marker towards it, you will find yourself somehow unable to find the spot until it is the last place you look for.
What the hell is that?
Oh, that's a brine fish egg, I think.
Huh.
Well, not Explorer's Paradox, I should really say Explorer's Conundrum. It just kind of happens.
At least they can't
There's a
freeze
reason-
my ship, huh?
Yeah, there's a reason why most games will give you, like, a pointer to the direction you're going, because they know that this kind of just happens.
I mean, eventually we'll find it, right?
Yes, but my time for being free is running out.
I mean, you have to leave, dude. I'm not gonna be mad, you know?
I know. I just think it rude to leave in the middle of the stream. Well, less in the middle and more near the end.
I mean, if it goes over our usual time, because I want to at least end by finding this damn thing, you can, you know, it'll be alright to leave. I know it's at the edge of the ice or something like that.
Yeah. I have about... Yeah, I have to leave at, like, 3:20.
I mean, if you want to leave now, I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna be mad.
I got about 5 more minutes before I need to go do things around the house.
Thunk. Thunk.
Bitch keep bumping.
Thunk!
Do you keep bumping into things?
Yes. Not intentionally, but yes.
If this were the Cyclops, there'd be a lot more thunks going on.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I think I'm on the right track. Sea monkey. So when did the sea monkey start being friendly with me?
Well, the thing about the sea monkeys is that the sea monkeys inherently are not,
Evil?
evil. Like the pinnacrid you just saw over there.
I'm listening.
The sea monkeys' AI is passive.
Hmm.
Which means that the sea monkeys actively will not attack you, even if you attack them. There are 3 types of AIs in this game. There is passive, which is creatures that if you attack them will not attack you back.
Mm-hmm.
There's neutral, which are creatures which if you do attack them, they will attack you back. And aggressive, which are creatures that will just either will either directly attack you or because you got in their range or because you were just in the way. For the most part, sea monkeys are considered passive. They might be neutral, but they're considered passive. They won't actively attack you. The worst they'll do is if they see you holding something shiny that isn't a flare, they'll sort of swim their way over to you and sort of steal it and grab it, almost sort of like playing a game. Think of them almost like seals or dolphins. Like, they're intelligent and they want to play. So they grab the thing that is shiny because they not only make their nests out of it, because they realize, hey, shiny.
I know I think there's a species of penguin out there that will actually find the shiniest stone they can to attract a mate.
It's sort of the same idea. Well, it's actually closer to the magpies, where they just sort of line their nest with it. But for the most part, they don't attack you. Same with panicrids. Most creatures in this game, except for a couple here and there, which makes sense to be aggressive, tend to either be passive or neutral.
By the way, I've had a rock puncher chase me.
Yeah, don't get too close to those.
No shit.
Rock punchers are passive unless you get too close. Then they become aggressive. So for the most part, they're neutral. Like, out of the creatures we have seen, the only actively aggressive ones are the, I won't say the symbiotes, because they only attack if you get too close to the whole fish. But the Cryptosuchus, the Chelicerate, the Brute Shark, and the Squid Shark are the only actively aggressive ones. For the most part, you could consider symbiotes actively aggressive, but they don't bite you unless you get too close.
Penguins!
Yeah, penguins here are a good case of neutral. They're passive unless you steal their baby, then they start going.
Completely nuts.
Yep. I don't know if attacking them also causes the same issue, and I would rather not find out.
Hey, I actually found where I needed to go without trying to find where I need to go.
Hooray!
Don't you love that? It's like when you want to find where you want to go. No, I know I've said this. It's like you can't find it, but as soon as you stop looking, then you find it. Hopefully we can get the thing installed before you have to run off, Ashtar.
Well, I literally have like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Sorry it took me a while to get over here.
It's fine.
Yeah, it is Delta Station.
Yeah, it's fine. The thing about this game is that one of the things that both of these games suffer from is that unless you build your own waypoints, it does not give you those. The only waypoints it will give you are distinctly set points on the map.
Oh, I need to install the device, and I don't remember where to install the damn device.
There's a door.
There's a ladder that takes me up there. I'm just trying to remember where the ladder is. But it's hard for me to see in the dark. Because I didn't bring a flashlight. Ladder. Alright, let's get this installed.
Great. Now back to the terminal.
Creep.
I need to get to the heat flower. Ah!
Okay, well, I gotta go do stuff around the house.
Alright, thanks for coming, Ashtar. Hopefully we'll see you next week, if not, sometime after.
Alright. Later.
Bye, Ashtar. Alright, folks. Let's finish this up. I hope it's almost daytime. Right, enter test mode.
Do it. Please work. Yes. Satellite is down.
Doesn't look down to me, but
Yes. That was most resourceful.
all right. Let's head back. Let's see, trick is that way.
All right, Altera. You win this round. Come find me at my greenhouse. I'm about a kilometer east of your position up on an iceberg. I have a present for you.
I'll come by if I have time.
Sure, whatever. If you have time for me in your busy social calendar.
Ow. Well, not my brightest move.
Seek fluid intake.
Okay.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
There we go. Alright, folks. We're actually going to end it here. Next week we will go see Marguerite's greenhouse and carry on the storyline, I guess. So, until next week, this has been AJ, that was Ashtar, and we'll talk.